Alright, 3 warnings for buying in the Algarve. So, who am I? First of all, I'm Steph. I'm a real estate agent here in the Algarve. Currently living in Eastern Algarve, but I've also lived in Central. And I get a lot of questions, of course, what do I need to look out for if I want to start buying property or looking at property in the Algarve. And I just wanted to make this quick video, to be honest, and kind of to clear things up and maybe give you a different perspective from someone that is a property advisor and a professional in the field, in English also, because I know there's a lot of Portuguese content around but not a lot of English. And my plan is to kind of fill this gap and to be able to translate some of the problems and the challenges into English and really be a guide, and all that stuff. But in any case, let's get into the warnings or the things that you need to look out for. And the first thing I will start with is do your neighborhood research. So why am I saying this? There are some really bad neighborhoods around, especially you need to watch out regarding new developments, because Portugal is a rapidly growing economical force. That is true, and that is good. That is why it's good to buy property in Portugal at the moment, and especially the Algarve. But that also means that there can be a big difference between the new developments that are a luxury or look fancy, but the neighborhood around it can be really bad. And trust me, I have seen some really bad ones, especially when you are looking at like the difference between the luxury condominium or the luxury new development and the neighborhood around it. So be wary of that. The Algarve is a safe area, I would say, 100%. But just like anywhere in the world, there are some no-go zones at certain times of the day, and that's normal. That's anywhere in the world, that's pretty common sense. But I just wanted to let you know that, because the new developments can look very fancy, but are the areas around it also matching up the expectations? So what I want you to do is, when you are, maybe you're not in the country. If you are in the country and you are viewing property, it's easy, drive around the neighborhood, ask around, maybe go have some food somewhere, have a drink. But let's say you're doing a video call or you're doing just online viewing, be careful and ask your agent, like, hey, what do you know about this neighborhood? What's going on? So don't get blinded by the fancy development, and you see brand new Mitsubishi AC units and double glazing, and you see have an infinity pool with amazing sea views. Don't get blinded. Please be aware and ask around. That's very important. You need to know, developers of course love cheap land. I mean, they're developers, they're there to make money, and I see that a lot. So be aware, ask your agent or someone around, am I going to catch a beer bottle to the head when I'm enjoying just a nice Alentejo white wine with my wife? Be really aware. Also, you must understand that Algarve especially does have some big party areas, and there's nothing wrong with that. For example, Albufeira, I lived there for a year. You have the strip there, people come there to party, especially in the high season. It's okay, and it's again neighborhood dependent. So when I lived in Albufeira, I lived in a nice condominium that was on a dead-end street, and it was very chill. It wasn't for me, Albufeira, but I'm just saying I'm not saying to not buy in Albufeira, but just, be aware again of the neighborhoods. And in the summer, when everyone's coming to Portugal to party, just be ready to just join some parties in the evenings instead of complaining. Just go out and have some fun, because they do know how to party here. Okay, the second thing I want to get into is that you need to understand that there's a lot of cowboys in the real estate market here. You do not need a license to operate as an agent here, or as well. You do need to operate as a brokerage. You obviously do, but the agents and advisors don't need a license, which is okay. It opens up a lot of opportunities, and in my opinion, if you are advised yourself and you think and you really interview around and you ask people around, you will get a good agent, because the competition is high. So people really need to be on their shit to be able to do this full time. You really need to know what you're doing. But just know that. And also, that's not only for agents, but also mortgage brokers, financial advisors, or mortgage brokers, let's just say it like that. They also can be very junior, and you need to understand that. It's nothing wrong with being junior. I myself consider myself as a junior, and I think I do my stuff well. It just depends who you're dealing with, but don't get blinded by the big name banks and think, oh, like this is X bank, this is like the biggest bank in Portugal, like these people must really know what they're talking about, and they must really have my interest in mind. Be aware, always have your own lawyer. That is going to be a repeating thing that I'm going to say to everyone. Have a lawyer, and for every aspect of buying real estate, have someone involved that you are paying, that is on your payroll, let's just say it like that, because they will have your interest in mind. Real estate market, it's a lot of commission-based things. So sometimes people can start thinking of commission bread, and I see it a lot. People don't always have your interest in mind. Know that. And still, if they do have your interest in mind, do your due diligence, get the right people involved, get experts involved. It's a big purchase. We're not buying a TV here, So that's something to remember. And again, about the lawyer part, I sometimes hear people say, oh, lawyers always make things difficult. Well, like I said, it should be difficult to buy property, because you're not buying a TV, you're not getting a slice of bread at the grocery store. There should be people involved that make things, that can inform you well. Let's just say it like that. All right, the lawyer, he will also be responsible in most transactions for making the CPCV, which is the buyer's agreement. It's most of the time drafted up by your lawyer as a buyer, so it's good to have one. Sorry. And they can also help you with things regarding other things with relocating, like obtaining a NIF number, the NIF number, which is the Portuguese tax identification number. All right, now that you're working with the right people and you know some more questions to ask and where to do your due diligence, let's get into the fun part, to be honest, the actual properties. So what do you need to watch out for property wise, especially in the Algarve? All right. Well, not every Algarve home only has fun parts. So the big thing is moisture, or mold, also known as mold. Check for mold and check for moisture. Ask the owner about it, and it's not crazy to find something that has mold spots or find painted over spots. It's very normal, but just ask the owner about it, and to get to know how bad is it, how long has it been there, what have you done about it, what times of the year is this happening here. Don't get scared, but be aware. Honestly, the older homes, it's almost impossible to find without spots that do have like moisture. So just be aware and don't really get scared of it. But yeah, do your due diligence and ask. A good agent will do this for you, but again, like I always say, also ask the question yourself, and you're better off asking your agent than him not asking and you just forgetting, because there are some yeah, you can run into big problems with it, health issues, structural damage can occur. First of all, it doesn't look nice, and who wants mold, so beware of that. All right, the construction checks, let's just call it that. Well, if you're buying with a mortgage, with financing, then the bank will do one for you, obviously, because they are giving their money for something that is supposed to be an asset. And you must understand that they will obviously do one. But again, I advise you to also do one yourself, maybe even if you are doing a mortgage, just because, like I say, I always want you to have someone on your payroll, or that you pay, kind of, and that has your interest in mind. So, of course, if you're buying, I don't know, like a very simple, if it's like very clear, there's absolutely no problems. I don't know, you're buying new development, condominium with financing, like maybe you don't need to get one of the checks done, but you must understand that it's can't really do damage to do one of those checks. Usually they aren't that expensive, in my opinion. I think usually I see prices in between like 400 to 700 euros, like 600, yeah, something like that. And then you get a proper, advisor. All right. All right, another big one, especially with financing, is there are a lot of illegal parts to properties in Portugal. And you must understand that this again is not a instant runaway thing. Just be aware of this. And regarding financing, it means that if there's added square meters, they won't finance that. The bank won't finance it. So you have to pay more cash. It's not like they won't do a financing, but you have a possibility that they will do less, will give you less of a loan. You must also understand that it depends, of course, what your plans are. Maybe it's not a problem that there are some illegal parts, but maybe there are a lot of illegal parts and you want to maybe get a rental license. Then you need to again really ask someone that knows the area, that knows the municipality, and that can advise you in this and give you a opinion. Not everything is black and white here, especially regarding the rules of what is legal and what's not. In my opinion, it's very vague, and well, it can be very vague. So you need to get a second opinion on this. Usually you can get someone that will go to the municipality for you, that has connections inside the municipality, that will be able to answer those questions for you properly. Again, get your own people involved. Like I always say, I have my connections, and I'm a buyer's agent here, but I have an extensive network of people that know about financing, know about building, know about licensing, So, get people involved that have a network here inside of the Algarve or wherever you're trying to buy. I myself am especially in the Algarve. So it's honestly the most important thing is to get professionals in there. And even though you may already understand this, you need to get them for every single aspect, because it's not a small thing. Okay, the AL that I just spoke about is an AL license, which is for short-term rentals. Short-term rentals is considered under 1 year, and the AL allows you to do short-term rentals without a contract, pretty much. So let's talk, Airbnb, things like that. So yeah, if you do want to get an AL license, do your research and get informed. All right, so again about financing. Like I said, the bank will always only finance parts that are according to the floor plans. So let's say, someone built an extra garage and there was not a approved project for this, and it's not in the plans, they will not finance this. Does this mean you have to break it down? No, not necessarily. Does it mean you have to run away? No, not necessarily. Just get informed. That's it. Alright, well, this was my first video here on this YouTube channel. I'm planning on doing property tours, advisory videos like this, and hopefully I will be able to help you guys move to the Algarve or to Portugal in general. Yeah, I'm currently living in the Eastern Algarve, and a little bit more about East Algarve. It's, yeah, more Portuguese, let's just say it like that. I really love it. If you want to know more about different areas in Portugal, maybe neighborhoods or things, just please let me know. You can drop a comment, you can send me a message, maybe drop me a WhatsApp or a phone call, and we can get in contact. I'm a real estate professional here. I'm currently working for Century 21, and yeah, my name is Stef de Luin. I want to thank you for watching this video, and I hope you all a successful journey to Portugal.